We all want to know how much the Norwegian superstar Erling Braut Haaland is worth. Lucky for us, the Norwegian economy magazine, Kapital, in English, Capital, has calculated Haaland's wealth. They published their article September 22nd. So far, the Wonder Kid from Norway has kicked in approximately 130 million Norwegian krone, while for the next 5 years, he has contractual income of just over 220 million Norwegian krone per year. The possibilities thereafter are almost endless. So how much wealth does Manchester City's star forward have? Valuation is like a rubber band, so also when it comes to Erling Braut Haaland's fortune, which there are several methods of calculating. One method could be to base yourself on earned income minus expenses and then find the football star's real equity. Another method involves also including contracted salary and sponsorship income, deducting estimated expenses, and then discounting this cash flow. A third alternative involves calculating the value of all future contract possibilities, while a fourth method can consist of multiple analysis. Instead, Kapital has contacted Norway's supposedly roughest expert on valuation, finance professor Thor Johnson at the Norwegian School of Economics, to hear his view on what would be the correct valuation method for estimating Braut Haaland's wealth. To get a more comprehensive picture, future opportunities should be taken into account, Johnson reasons. By valuing Haaland in the same way as a share, the football star's fortune will have a completely different value. But the finance professor points out, as is correct, that the prerequisites for Kapital's list are based on existing wealth, before he makes his reflections on whether Haaland should be included in Kapital's 400 club. If you are to see Haaland as a growth case, then it is clear that he will be highly priced. By discounting a realistic cash flow for Haaland's remaining career, I would think that 5 billion kroner is a conservative estimate, says Johnson. 5 billion kroner equals to $500 million. The question is whether such extreme upside opportunities should be taken into account when compiling the list. Most of those on the list are valued on the basis of historical earnings and current investments, not plans, potential, and uncertain predictions. Furthermore, the finance professor concludes that future earnings, beyond what is stipulated in the contract, should not be included in Kapital's valuation of Erling Braut Haaland. The latter is fully in line with Kapital's long-established valuation practice. So, to find the most correct estimate for the Manchester City striker's fortune, Kapital uses a combination of the first two valuation methods. According to Kapital's calculations, the 22-year-old from Norway has accumulated a net worth of close to 130 million Norwegian kroner after his career at Red Bull Salzburg and Borussia Dortmund. Then, Kapital has also included the sponsorship agreement with Nike and other sponsors, and subtracted estimated consumption and tax. The part of the calculation which shows Braut Haaland's initial wealth should therefore be about right. The second method involves including discounted income and sponsorship agreements which are contractual, and which constitute a predictable source of income for the Norwegian in the coming years. According to Fabrizio Romano, the world's most renowned reporter on international transfers, Braut Haaland's salary at Manchester City will be £375,000 a week, equivalent to approximately 220 million Norwegian kroner a year for 5 years. In addition, there are bonuses and personal sponsorship agreements. Kapital has estimated the personal sponsorship agreements at approximately 150 million Norwegian kroner per year, while any bonuses are considered uncertain income and are therefore kept out of the calculation. Kapital has then subtracted an estimated amount for fixed expenses and tax, and then discounted the relatively certain cash flow over the next 5 years to today's value. The estimate for fixed expenses, real interest, etc. can certainly be discussed, but a rough estimate suggests that the young Norwegian, who is now considered one of the world's very best footballers, is good for approximately 1.1 billion Norwegian kroner, or $110 million. This is thus the best estimate for Braut Haaland's fortune Kapital can come up with. In any case, the wealth buildup must be said to be unprecedented for a Norwegian 22-year-old. Never before, as far as Kapital knows, has a Norwegian footballer managed to create such a large fortune in such a short time, and at such a young age. That makes Braut Haaland, by a good margin, Norway's first football billionaire. Nevertheless, it's not quite enough for the star forward to get a place on Kapital's list of Norway's 400 richest, where the requirement for wealth to be included this year is a record high 1.2 billion Norwegian kroner, $120 million. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe. See ya!